Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2020-21 season. My name is Dan and today we're going to do a team selection video, a very special one indeed because it is of course a wildcard video for me today. Now, I'm not feeling 100%, sorry if I'm not at full form, I have been a little bit ill recently, but I really wanted to drag myself out of bed and make this video because it's wildcard week, guys. This is exciting stuff and I really want to show you what I've got. I basically just spent the last 48 hours laying in bed on my phone drafting wildcard after wildcard, and I think I've come up with something really nice that I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with now right until the deadline. So excited to share that with you guys. We're also going to go through my scores from last game week as well, but before we do all that, a quick word from our sponsors today, which is of course OneFootball. Team selections video sponsored by OneFootball. Again, those of you who don't know what it is, it's a great app / website for all things football. I personally like to use the mobile app of OneFootball, just checking out scores and stats and things like that on games I'm not necessarily watching. Some European games, you know, international games, it's really handy to check them out. And if I'm not watching the odd Premier League game, I'll check out the stuff on OneFootball as well. You know, get up on your phone, especially now we're allowed out and about a bit. If you're on the go, you want to check the scores out. OneFootball's just kind of the perfect place for you, and it's got some sports news and stuff on there as well, so it's all really good, completely free, and it helps support the channel when you click that link in the description, so please do check it out, guys. So let's quickly do last week's scores. I know you're probably not as interested in my last week's scores, but we've got to run through it. We've got to keep consistency with the channel, haven't we, guys? If you do like this video, of course, please do like, show some support. I've got out of bed for this. I've got out of bed to just record this video, and I'm now going to get straight back in bed after I'm done, I think, and edit this video. But yes, 60 points last game week. Quite a lot of disappointment, I would say, to be honest. Although I did get a good green arrow, a relatively good green arrow, you know, 10,000 places up, which is not bad at all. Certainly not complaining about that. But there was a lot of disappointment, a lot of unpredictability here. For example, you know, Martinez against Fulham, you would have thought clean sheets likely there. Dino against Crystal Palace, so close to being a clean sheet until right at the last few minutes, Crystal Palace scored. Alonso, you know, Chelsea in general, if you guys had Chelsea defenders, I think you can count yourself very unlucky. That was a freak result with the early red card. It's never going to happen again, is it? I can't believe it. Alonso hitting the post twice, conceding 5 goals. Feel a little bit unlucky there again. And yeah, Leeds, I think in general are a little bit disappointing. We thought they would go out and roll over Sheffield United, but actually, although they created a lot of chances and probably could have scored 1 or 2 more, it wasn't quite what we were expecting. KDB let us down. Son only played 45 minutes. Bamford let us down. Watkins did score, which was a pleasant surprise. Lingard's a legend. Rafinha was a failure of a captain. You know, I did expect him to maybe match Harry Kane. Harry Kane pretty much did the maximum he possibly could have done in that game. I knew that Spurs weren't going to score more than 2 goals in that game. I was kind of hoping that maybe Kane only scored 1. But he scored two goals, so he was, in the end, the sensible captain pick for a very good reason, and he really paid off. So that's kind of damaged me a little bit, but not that much because, in general, it's a pretty good game week. But it kind of seems like the game week where it could have been a lot better. But anyway, guys, let's move on to game week 31 and show you my wildcard team. Right, so it is literally, we're starting afresh for the final few games of the season. Brand new team. It's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited to just go. I've completely changed up my team, and I think there's only sort of 3 players that are staying in my team from my old team coming into the new team. So there's going to be huge changes because of the huge fixture swings. This is going to be insane. I really think this is going to be just going to give me a great end to the season. I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to go player by player, and then I'm going to show you the bench. You can see the team value is 102.8. This wildcard has decimated my team value because I made so many changes, taken out so many players. I've lost a lot of value, but I'm not really that bothered. At the end of the day, points are more important than team value, and there's a lot of differentials here, and a lot of people, players that you guys who aren't on wildcards are gonna want these players. But I'm lucky enough that I can get in there early. So we're going to start this team off with Mendy, Chelsea goalkeeper. Pretty much the most obvious goalkeeper pick, I would say, for this game week. You know, if anyone's on a wild card, more than likely you're going to have Mendy in goal. He just kind of seems like the sensible choice right now. A lot of people might be put off by that West Brom result, but like I said, it's an absolute freak result. That's not likely to happen every single game week. It's not likely to happen again this season, to be honest. I do think there's lots of clean sheets coming for Chelsea, and I've actually decided here to just go for the single Chelsea defender. So Mendy is going to be my only Chelsea player in this team, just because I was kind of playing around with who to pick from the defenders. Azpilicueta a little bit too expensive for me. Then I was sort of looking at Rudiger and Christensen. Both of them have this slight rotation risk, more so than Mendy, where Mendy I can just stick in my team, not have to worry about it. Christensen's going to rotate with Thiago Silva, Rudiger's going to rotate with Zuma, and, you know, occasionally I might run into a bit of a problem there. With Mendy, I just got it covered. I don't need to worry about it. I very much doubt Kepa's going to come into the team at any point in this season, but we do have a backup goalkeeper just in case. But I feel pretty secure here, under 10% owned. This is going to be good. I think this is going to be good. So we'll move on to defence. And let me tell you guys, the defenders are pretty cheap. But we have got some other defenders on my bench. This is how I'm setting up for game week 31. But when we go forward, the other defenders on my bench, they are going to rotate in as well. So I've got 5 defenders, all going to be rotating around depending on the game week. And it looks pretty good. I've sort of planned it out. They rotate well as well with each other. So we'll start off with Veltman. Yes, Veltman is the most expensive starting defender in my team this week, which is pretty interesting. Everton at home. It's actually a pretty good fixture. Everton are kind of struggling to score a little bit at the moment, to be honest. Brighton's still one of the best defences in the league. They're still kind of not topping the charts. You know, we've got sort of Chelsea, we've got Man City above Brighton, but Brighton after that. Brighton are one of the best defences in the league, and they are keeping the chances from the other team fairly low. Veltman is, you know, it seems like the best defender from that team. You know, you could maybe say Lewis Dunk is a good shout as well, but Veltman, he creates a little bit. He does have the occasional shot as well, and 1.9% owned. I think a lot of people will be selling their Brighton defenders at the moment, and I kind of understand that, to be fair, because they haven't got great fixtures consistently. But like I said, my defenders are going to be rotating in and out, so I can afford to have some bad fixtures, some good fixtures, and not consistent runs with my defenders. But we'll move on to Rob Holding. I think this is a pretty obvious one. With David Luiz out, you know, you'd say that Rob Holding, he's going to be pretty nailed on in this Arsenal team. 4.2 million is an absolute steal, an absolute bargain. We know Arsenal have some really good fixtures from a defensive point of view, starting off with this game against Sheffield United. Very, very nice indeed. Do we trust Arsenal's defence completely? Probably not, to be honest, but you know, they have been conceding a few goals recently, and it has been a little bit worrying. But this is a much better fixture than compared to, you know, Liverpool and West Ham that we've sort of played in the last few game weeks. This is a much better fixture, and 4.2 million, that is such a good price for an Arsenal defender with this good fixtures. Hopefully Arsenal can do something and tighten up their defence, as they have done in previous times during this season as well. So I do think it could be a really good shout. Again, 3.2% owned, real differential again. And we're going to finish off with another differential defender, Nat Phillips. I know a lot of you guys will have your eye on Nat Phillips for good reason. He's kind of pretty much nailed on, not 100%, but pretty much nailed on in that Liverpool defence now. And Liverpool have been slightly and slowly improving defensively over the past few weeks, if we're completely honest. And if Nat Phillips can play, you know, even 3 out of 4 games, that's going to be really, really good, because he's 4 million. Again, super bargain. And these bargain defenders, that I can go out and just pick up all of the bargain defenders at once, it's really going to enable me to spend a little bit more money on players higher up the pitch. My squad value is not fantastic, so I do need to cut some corners somewhere, and this Nat Phillips shout is really quite nice. Aston Villa, we know they've been struggling to score goals as well. Maybe Grealish comes in and changes that, but who knows? Who knows if Grealish is going to come back in straight away and immediately make an impact. I guess we kind of know what the last result was between Liverpool and Aston Villa, but no, still feeling confident about this one. 1.7% owned. A defender a lot of people would want to own right now, because you've got a nailed on, or nearly nailed on, Liverpool defender for so cheap. It looks good, doesn't it, guys? So we'll move on into midfield, and we're going to start you off with Mo Salah. Just because his underlying stats are fantastic. His actual output has not been amazing, but then when we start to look at other competitions as well, maybe he's performed okay in other competitions, has been scoring some goals. his underlying stats are kind of better than anyone else's in the game really right now. He is really looking quite good. Liverpool have got all these really nice fixtures. Another team with a really nice run of fixtures. We've got kind of a lot to play for with Liverpool. They have got, are they going to get knocked out of the Champions League? You'd say possibly. They lost 3-1 against Real Madrid, which means maybe their only route back into the Champions League is going to be through the Premier League. They certainly have to prepare for that eventuality, which means they're going to have to go 100% best team possible every single game, no rotation here, trying your absolute best. There's no time for a rest here. They really got to do something special at Liverpool to try and compete for the top 4 positions, which is looking like it's going to be a great competition towards the end of the season. And Salah also is chasing the Golden Boot award for the season. So there's all of these things have sort of come together a little bit. And although Salah's actual real life output hasn't been amazing recently, you kind of think you've got to look a little bit more into it. You've got to look past the stats. You've got to kind of look at the underlying stats, the sort of, the mental factor of it, and how that's going to work out. And I just think Salah is just a pretty safe premium pick, to be honest. But we'll move on to Bruno Fernandes. I just kind of want to cover Bruno Fernandes, to be honest. He has got some really nice fixtures coming up. He's got Burnley next game week, for example. Even this game against Spurs. And I did consider saying, maybe we'll leave out Fernandes versus Spurs and bring him in next game week. I actually decided against that because Spurs are kind of conceding a few chances, aren't they? And you kind of think a big game like this, there is always possibility that Spurs are just going to concede some stupid chances and some stupid goals, and who better to be around that than Bruno Fernandes? He is the guy who gets the points for Manchester United. There's no doubt about that. So really quite a boring pick, if I'm honest, but it covers Bruno Fernandes. He's got some good fixtures coming up, and he's a player that I want to have. Although, if I'm completely honest, I can't see myself captaining him too much between now and the end of the season when I look at all the fixtures and all the players that could bang in any given game week. I think we're mostly going to be looking at Salah and another player who you probably guessed will be in my team. I'm not. It's Harry Kane. Harry Kane is obviously in my wildcard team. There's no doubts about that. But yeah, it's mostly going to be Salah and Kane who's going to take the captain's armband for the rest of the season. But I do have Bruno there just in case. Anyway, we'll move on to Raheem Sterling, and this, guys, is my 1 week punt. So we saw that Raheem Sterling didn't play a single minute in the Champions League. Pep sort of gave the impression that he wants to put fresh legs on the pitch against Leeds, freshen things up. Which means that maybe Sterling comes in. That looks kind of likely. I think in this fixture, the real danger with Wildcard is that we're going to miss out on some big hauls from Man City players. Because we think, Man City, they've got, fixtures that are not amazing. They've got blank game weeks. They've got, Champions League as the priority competition. There's going to be loads of rotation. There's so much to dislike about Manchester City right now. But this particular fixture, we know what Leeds are like. They concede so many chances against the big team because their style of football just doesn't work against the big teams. And when you've got a team like Man City, who are an amazing attack against anyone, put them up against this Leeds team, I think they're just. I think I can honestly see Man City scoring so many goals in this particular game. It's just destined to happen, and I really, really want to have a Man City attacker who is going to play the Man City attack. De Bruyne is very risky. Mahrez is incredibly risky. Those are kind of the players I would probably be looking at first, but they seem more risky because they played in the Champions League, or that full game in the Champions League even. We've then kind of got, Aguero, Jesus, both of those were rested in the Champions League, so maybe they play, but maybe just one of them plays. So it's really difficult to pick out the right one. It is a big risk, but I think it's a risk that has such a huge upside that is actually quite exciting. So I have gone for Raheem Sterling. Bit of a differential there. Hopefully he plays. If he plays, I think we could be in for quite a nice score, to be honest. I know. Yeah, I'm excited to see what can happen there. But you got to take the odd risk. You got to take the odd risk and do the odd differential, don't you? But anyway, moving on to Jota. Probably another one of the most obvious picks you could possibly go for this game week. Everyone wants Jota right now. His underlying stats aren't quite as anywhere near Salah's level, but he has been playing a few less minutes. Maybe he forces himself into the team. We know Jota is amazing off the bench as well. He is in good form. He is finishing off his chances. Even if his chances aren't of as high quality or he's not getting as many, he is finishing off the chances that he is getting. He does have that hunger and desire right now, so I'm really liking the look of him. I think he is probably one of the players where, you know, wildcard or not, you kind of got to get him into your team right now. So really do consider getting him in, guys. He's looking really, really, really good right now. So let's see what can happen there. And we're going to finish off with the legend himself, Jesse Lingard, who I never have any doubts about, guys. Come on. He's an absolute legend. He's an absolute legend, and he's smashing it, and he continues to smash it, and he just looks so good, and the form is so amazing that, you know, even if his underlying stats are not insane, and I think people are underestimating him so much. I'm seeing so many you know, FPL experts saying, yeah, there's no way he can sustain this. His underlying stats are not even that bad. When you add like good underlying stats to amazing form, amazing confidence, and Lingard is a confidence player, he's got a lot to prove as well. This is a good pick. He's genuinely a good pick, and if, you know, if people continue to avoid him, then you're going to continue to lose out on points, I'm afraid. But I'm sticking with the man, Jesse Lingard, and I can't wait for him to continue to help out this side 100%. I'll move on to up front. Harry Kane, really obvious one. There's no point in going into this one too much. You've got double game week next game week, which I'm definitely going to captain him for. He is just like arguably the best player in the league at this point. Maybe De Bruyne, you would say, is ahead of Kane, but aside from that, Kane is just amazing right now, and he is just carrying Spurs, and it looks like that's going to continue as well. So there's no way anyone should go without Kane anymore. You know, you can't do it. And then we'll finish off the first 11 with Iheanacho. Very obvious shout. I don't think Iheanacho is going to get dropped. I think Maddison is going to come in for Jose Perez. So Kelechi, he's going to stay in the Leicester team. He's going to continue to get all of these shooting opportunities. Maddison is going to help Kelechi. And he's got some really good fixtures. Even this West Ham fixture, West Ham already conceding loads of goals. Then they lost Declan Rice. You know, to concede 2 goals to Wolves, that's kind of not a good sign for them. So I do think there is going to be goals in this game for sure. And Iheanacho is definitely going to be on the cards for potential goals. I'm just really hoping that he can continue to start. But I would predict that he can continue starting, and great price, low ownership, great differential, just amazing. But let's go on to my bench, because this is where things do get a bit interesting. 4-star, I think it's, you know, I've considered saving the 0.1 million and just going for a 3.9 million goalkeeper, but I don't think I need to worry about that. Now I've restructured my team a little bit, I don't think I need to worry about it, because I've kind of planned out my transfers a little bit, so I'm not too worried anymore about saving the money. And I guess it would be nice to have that backup. I don't think I'm ever going to play Forster, to be honest, but just in case, you know, Mendy is rested for Kepa for whatever random reason. I've got that cover at least. Then on the bench, you can see we've got Vidra, 4.8 million, absolute bargain. He's actually looking really good recently. He's one of the higher performing strikers in recent game weeks, to be honest. Sort of 3 goal contributions in his last 4 games, sort of 2 goals and an assist, which is looking quite nice. Burnley have some mixed fixtures. I honestly don't think I will be playing Vidra very often. I probably won't ever play him, but it is a really nice backup to have. And, you know, I kind of look at this fixture against Newcastle and I think, oh, maybe I should actually be playing Vidra. But at the very least, he's a fantastic backup option for me there. So that at least covers, you know, if Sterling or Jota don't play for whatever reason, if Iheanacho, it does turn out he's dropped for Maddison and Perez keeps his place in this team, I've got Vidra there. So, you know, it's really nice cover to have. And then we've got my other 2 rotation defenders who, this is going to be a huge differential for me. So Wesley Fofana, that's going to be insane for me. Sort of, when we're talking about Leicester, one of the better defenses in the league. After this West Ham game, they've got amazing defensive fixtures. A lot of people are not invested in Leicester's defence because they don't really know where to go in Leicester's defence. Maybe they think Leicester defence is a bit too expensive. 5 million for Fofana for, I would say, a nailed-on Leicester defender when fit. I think that's going to be absolutely incredible. I think this is going to be a huge differential as well. I think Fofana's like 0.9% owned or something like that. The Leicester defence in general is super, super low owned. So if Leicester keep clean sheets, that's going to be a huge thing for me. So looking forward, I know West Ham is not the greatest fixture, but after that, the fixtures do get a lot better. I'm pretty much going to be playing Fofana every single game week, at least for the next 4 or 5 game weeks. And then finally, you can see that I've got Davinson Sanchez there. He's not going to play against Manchester United, but he's got the double game week next game week, which is absolutely sick. He's probably the most nailed on of the Spurs defenders, you would say. If he can play twice and even get one clean sheet, that could be absolutely amazing. And maybe, you never know. He could get a headed goal. He got a few headed goals this season in all competitions. So that's going to be really nice as well. I just kind of feel like that's going to be a huge differential as well. People may be going for Reguilon, who perhaps only plays one game out of the two. I think Reguilon is not going to play 2 games over the double game week. Sanchez probably most nailed on there. Other players you go for, maybe Alderweireld. People will strangely go for Dyer, but definitely don't recommend that one. Doherty, whoever. But yeah, Sanchez is the one most nailed on and most likely to benefit me over the double game week. But speaking of double game weeks, unless it's not, hopefully it's a little bit obvious, but my next week's transfer would be planned to do Sterling to Son, which will free up a bit of money where I can upgrade somewhere. Not 100% sure where I want to upgrade yet. There are a few options on the table depending on how things pan out. But I could do Sterling to Son next game week to capitalise on the double game week. Then I'll be triple Spurs for game week 32, which would be really nice. And 3 decent Spurs players as well. And overall, this team just works for a long period of time. Later on in the season, I can start switching in some potentially Aston Villa players. There's some nice routes to Grealish. There's some nice routes to Watkins for me if I want to do that. If they do get their double game week, we don't know when their double game week is going to be, but we know it's going to be at some point in the rest of the season. Leeds have got some really nice fixtures at the end, but there are some routes here to get to Bamford or Rafinha if I want to do that, even if I want to go for Dallas, but I don't know if I'll go back in on Dallas at this point. But there are routes there as well. So this is a really quite a flexible team. As soon as you take out Sterling and replace him with Son, you can reinvest your money anywhere. The only real issue is I wouldn't really be able to upgrade to a very expensive defender. So I'm going to probably have to go the rest of the season without an expensive defender. But aside from that, it does have that flexibility to get sort of mid-range strikers in there. Pretty much any midfielder I want in the game as well. So yeah, I just think this looks good. Very quickly on captains, let's stick the armband on Salah. I think that's the safe pick here, to be honest. Salah at home, typically a good thing, isn't it? And his underlying stats, it just looks amazing. Chasing Golden Boot, lots to play for. Aston Villa dropping off in form massively recently, could be pretty good. And let's put the vice captain on Sterling, because why not? It's a good fixture against the Leeds, and if it does happen that the captaincy does switch to Sterling, then at least that makes things a little bit exciting, that's for sure. So there we go, guys. That is my wildcard team. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I really am really happy with it, to be honest. I've been thinking about it so much, like I say, and everything's sort of worked out. Everything's planned for the future and stuff. My future transfers, the rotation of the defenders. It's looking good, guys. It really is. So there we have it. Hopefully that is that looks good to you as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please do like the video if you enjoyed what you saw today, but particularly as I'm feeling pretty ill. Your likes will cheer me up, that's for sure, 100%. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here. Check out OneFootball if you like. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and whatever. All links are in the description. I really hope I'm well enough to do a stream tomorrow. It would be really nice to do a deadline stream and sort of continue talking a little bit about the wildcard team as well, and just going to answer some questions live and stuff like that. And talk a bit more wildcard stuff. I will try and answer as many comments in this video as well. If you leave your comments, I'll try and answer them as well. Just try and cover as much as possible. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'm going back to bed. See you later, mates. Bye bye.